In WWE, the biggest paychecks don't always go to the hardest workers. Sometimes, the people who show up the least get paid the most. For decades, WWE has been built on the backs of full-time wrestlers. These are the men and women who travel over 200 days a year. They perform every week, risking injuries, and carry the company on TV and live shows. But then, something changed. A new era emerged where part-time superstars, legends who only appear a few times a year, started earning millions. Names like Brock Lesnar, The Rock, and Goldberg began dominating headlines and bank accounts. So the question is, why does WWE pay more to stars who wrestle less? To understand this, we have to go back. In the 1980s and 1990s, wrestling was built on full-time loyalty. Legends like Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin were on the road constantly. They were the faces of the company. Week after week. Back then, pay was tied to appearances and ticket sales. If you worked more, you earned more. But the business evolved. In the early 2000s, WWE became less dependent on live events and more focused on pay-per-view buys, TV ratings, and eventually global media rights deals. And with that shift, a new strategy emerged. Bring in massive stars, even if only for a short time, because their presence could generate huge spikes in attention and revenue. The perfect example of this shift is Brock Lesnar. When Lesnar returned to WWE in 2012, he didn't come back as a full-time wrestler. Instead, he signed a limited dates contract. He would appear only a few times a year, but every appearance felt like a major event and worked. Whenever Lesnar showed up, ratings increased, pay-per-view buys improved, and fans tuned in just to see him. WWE realized something important. Scarcity creates value. Then there's The Rock. By the time he returned in 2011, he was already a global movie superstar. He didn't need WWE, but WWE needed him. His return led to one of the biggest matches in history. The Rock versus John Cena at WrestleMania 28. That match generated massive revenue, mainstream media coverage, and global attention. And the hockey? He only wrestled a handful of matches. Yet, he earned millions. Another example is Goldberg. When Goldberg returned in 2016, he was already in his 50s. He wasn't there to wrestle weekly matches. Instead, WWE used him for short, explosive appearances. His matches were quick, impactful, and nostalgic, and fans loved it. His feud with Brock Lesnar brought back old fans and boosted WWE's numbers significantly. So what's the real reason behind this? Part-time stars often have mainstream recognition. People like The Rock bring non-wrestling fans into WWE. That means more viewers, more response, more revenue. Modern WWE is built around big events. Shows like WrestleMania rely on huge names. A part-time star can sell an entire event, even with just one match. Part-time stars don't need WWE. That gives them leverage. Unlike full-time wrestlers, they can demand higher pay for fewer dates. And WWE agrees, because the return on investment is worth it. Legends sell merchandise. Their names alone generate sales, even without weekly appearances. A single return can boost merchandise numbers overnight. Meanwhile, full-time wrestlers are essential. but they are replaceable. That harsh reality affects their earning power. The biggest turning point came when fans started noticing the imbalance. Full-time stars were grinding every week, while part-time legends showed up, took main event spots, and earned more. This created tension. A perfect example is the rise of stars like CM Punk. In his famous 2011 pipe bomb promo, Punk openly criticized WWE. He talked about part-timers getting the spotlight, while full-time talent was overlooked. It was one of the rare moments where backstage reality became part of the storyline, and it exposed the truth. WWE is a business first, and wrestling comes second. Today, the system still exists. Part-time stars continue to earn massive paychecks. Because in WWE, it's not about how often you show up. It's about how much money you bring when you do. Full-time wrestlers build the foundation. They carry the weekly shows. But part-time stars, they create the moments, the headlines, the mainstream buzz. And in sports entertainment, moments are worth millions.